Okay, so this is actually the first time I'm recording something for this game that I'm developing, and I want to show some progress I have done, and maybe this is interesting for somebody. So first thing I want to show, right, is this: there's a basic combat system here, very simple. So included some animations, some movementations. So the character also is losing some health. It's able to cast some spells and use some mana. Um, so this is quite interesting, right? So then we have the ability here just to pass through some collision boxes that are set up in the environment, and then that triggers these companions to be added to the party. This is also pretty cool. And now that we have these companions added in the party, I have done some work preparing these UIs. Well, that's not great, but it's already something. So one of the improvements I made was to add this wood map, so it's working as I wanted. Not much content in here, but still works pretty nice. So you can navigate, you can use this cursor to go to the edge of this canvas. Then when you reach a certain point, then it stops and then translates the canvas, so that's pretty nice. You can also zoom in and zoom out, right? And one thing that I added, quite a nice touch I think, is that if by any chance you scroll down to the far side and then this drop down would open partially cropped, right? Then it just moves to the right side, so it's not cropped, it's always visible. So you can see, like in here, in this case, if I come to this left side and I put in here, you can see that this box opens right towards the left side and not always to the right. So the default place is on the right side, but depending on the position you are on the map, move. So that's pretty nice. Another thing that I have added is this how can I say that, this move to the path, right? So when you select a location on the left side and you click on it, so maybe you don't want to move the cursor all the way to that location, maybe you don't know where the thing is, so you can just click on the left side and it will move to that particular location. That's quite nice, and I can show you very briefly how to do that. The other improvements I made was in this screen. So here you have a basic stats for the character. This character is very simple, but that's something, as I said. And then you can switch between the other characters. It will update all those things. And on the triggers in the controller, you can move to the skill tree, right? This is just a demo to demonstrate how this could work. And also to the inventory. Inventory is barely done, just some boxes over there. But this piece is already working, so functionality is here. So let's say that you want to add the healing spell to your selected skills. So we have this option here. It will open a new screen, and then you can select, right? Okay, I want this on the A, B, or X or Y, or the combination, right? A plus right trigger, and then that thing. So I'm gonna put this in here just to demonstrate, and I can confirm, right? So it will be done. And then I also have this on this screen, right on the stat screen. I have the ability to change either the formation that I have for my group or the party. So there's a focus issue here, but I can pretty much remove those people from my party, right? I'm gonna like this. So now they are gone. Okay, and as I said before, now if I press the LT, there you see, right? It's my healing spell, right? It actually should cast, maybe, right? Yeah, yeah, it casts. So not everything is perfect, but it's already working to some extent. So I just want to show how this thing on the map, to move the map, is done. This took me a while to have this working, and I think many people would like to get a glimpse on how this is done. So basically the idea is that I have this canvas here, right? That's my box where things should be displayed. And I have this inner canvas, which is actually the map. That's the size of the map. So my map is 2K map, right? And then I have this crosshair, right in the middle. So there's a script that will populate all those locations in the map according to their coordinates, right? But the tricky thing is that how do you make this thing move when you are moving your analog command, right? Your right stick. So to do that, you need to come in here on the graph, and then you need to override an input. So you could come in here, right, and there will be an option to override the analog input. So once you do that, you'll be able to modify this piece of code. And to do that, you need to use this kind of logic. So you check if that value that has changed, right, it was like this. So I could not find a better way to do that with some switches or enumerations, but this seems to be the way that it actually works. So you need to write here the gamepad, right, thumbstick, right, the X and the Y, and then you make the comparison if that is actually a movement, right? Maybe sometimes people have their controllers a little bit glitched, so it's actually not moving, but you get some input. So what I did in here is to make sure that there is some measurable value, and then it actually triggers the condition, right? Yeah, and that's pretty much. So then I set up these variables, right? The temporary translation X and translation Y. And I need to have a movement speed. That's another variable that I have set up in the environment. You can see it's here, right? In my case, I have set up this for 6. So that's the multiplier that will make this translation. So you need to remember that the values that you're getting from the input are between 0 and 1. So actually you get 1, then you need to multiply that 1 by the speed that you want that cursor to move, right? And then you pass it along and you make the translations. In my logic, I have 2 steps to be calculated. So first I need to move the crosshair, right? And if the crosshair reaches the boundary, the limit of the that initial canvas, then I need to start translating the underlying map. So that's basically what I'm doing here. So first I calculate the crosshair, I store it in a temporary variable, right? And I have this check just to see if I need to move it or not. And if I can move it, I store it and set the translation for the crosshair. Otherwise, I calculate the translation for the map. And then same thing, I store the variable and translate the map. The logic for the crosshair and the maps are pretty much the same, except the crosshair is reversed. So I will show you. So when you get the data for the crosshair, you will see that the Y needs to be inverted, because when you move the analog stick down, it produces a negative value, but you actually want it to be positive. So then we need to invert in here, right? And then we make the addition to the crosshair is current position and this new value, and we check, is this within the boundaries, right? Is this beyond the limits of my canvas? If it's within the boundaries, then pretty simple, you say yes, it should move, and you pass along the value, otherwise you reject it. But for the map translation, right, so you need to think that when you're moving your analog stick to the right side, for instance, you are actually moving the map to the left side. So they go on opposite directions. That's counterintuitive. So that's why here we need to do the same thing, but with the X. So pretty much the same logic that I have on the crosshair, but the difference is that instead of using the crosshair current position, I'm using the map current position, and the inversion is on the X, not on the Y. And then everything goes right as expected. So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, if you want to know more on how I did that, feel free to drop a message or to contact me. I'm always willing to share. Thank you.